What's going on? Jun with the Sushi Man, and in this video, I'll teach you how to make a hamapeño roll, or hamachi and jalapeno roll. The combination of the rich, buttery flavor of the hamachi with the spicy, crunchy texture of the jalapeno is an amazing combo and is definitely one you should try, especially if you're a fan of spicy sushi. I'm also going to pair it with a really good bottle of sake that's been one of my recent favorites. I haven't tried it together yet, but I'm pretty sure it'll be a great pairing, so watch till the end to see. Alright, without further ado, let's get right into it. First, let's go over our ingredients. The most important, as always, for any type of sushi is the sushi rice, and we'll need about half a cup to make one roll. Then 1 sheet of nori, and this is a half sheet. And then we're going to need some hamachi, or yellowtail. This fillet is about 10 ounces, but we'll only be using about half of it. Next, we have 1 jalapeno, an avocado, which we'll use about a quarter of, and then some spicy mayo, and I like to use ponzu for the dipping sauce, but you can use soy sauce as well. Then of course some wasabi and ginger if you like. Okay, now let's move on to our prep. Alright, first let's cut our veggies. So starting with the jalapeno, I'm going to cut this in half crosswise and save half for the topping, and then the rest we're going to cut into small sticks after we take out the seeds. Now for the avocado. We're going to use about a quarter of this and then slice it down into about 1/4 inch thick pieces. Watch. Alright, now let's move on to the hamachi. So the hamachi is going to go inside the roll, and we're going to layer it on top of the roll as well. Now this is part of the back loin, which a lot of times is kind of this two-tone color. You can trim this red part off if you like, but I personally like to keep it on. It's totally up to you. So we're going to cut a little section off first for the jalapeno mix, and then after that we'll slice the pieces to layer on top. About right around here. And we'll put that aside. Now we're going to cut those thin sliced pieces, about 5 or 6 of them. Okay, now we're going to start chopping this up and combine it with the jalapeno. Alright, that looks good about there. And that's it for the prep. Now let's get ready to roll. First, let's make sure we have everything in place. Sushi rice, bowl of cold water or tezu, nori, our filling ingredients, cutting board, makisu, and a clean towel. And since this roll is going to be an uramaki style with the rice on the outside, we want our makisu to be wrapped in plastic. You can watch my original how to roll sushi video if you don't know how to do this. Alright, so first make sure you have your makisu so that the sticks are horizontal. And if yours has a greenish side to it like mine, then make sure to leave that on top versus the tan side. The green side is flat, which makes the rolls come out a little cleaner. Okay, now grab a sheet of nori, and with the rough side facing up, we're going to place it down on our makisu. Then we wet both hands thoroughly, but not drenching wet. And then grab a ball of rice, about the size of an apple. Now spread it across evenly on the nori, all the way to the edges and corners. Now we're going to flip this over so that the seaweed side is on top. And when you do this, leave about 1 inch of space from the bottom of the makisu to the bottom of the nori. This will make it easier to roll. Okay, now we're going to add in our ingredients. Avocado. Then the jalapeno mix. All the way across. Now from here, we're going to bring this bottom part of the nori to the top of the ingredients by supporting the makisu with both thumbs, while using our forefingers to hold the ingredients in place. So bring it up and over all the fillings, and then at this point, the ingredients are fully wrapped, but this top part of the nori is still visible. From here, you want to pull this top part of the makisu away from you, while the other hand gently puts pressure on the roll. This will help tighten the roll so that the ingredients won't fall out. Now grab this bottom end of the makisu and pull it away from you while the roll overlaps onto itself. and then give it some even pressure from all sides. And there you go. Now let's clean the ends a bit by aligning this edge of the makisu to the end of the roll, and then pushing in on the rice. This helps the ends look a little bit cleaner. Do it for both sides. Okay, now we're going to lay the hamachi on top all the way across. And then grab a sheet of plastic and place it on top. And just a little tip when you do this, leave some extra plastic on this top part here, about 3 to 4 inches or so. This will make it easier to take off after we cut the roll. Now we shape the roll again with our makisu. And now we're ready to cut. So we're going to cut this into 8 even pieces, which is the standard for uramaki rolls. Now, if you follow my channel, you've seen me do this countless times. But the way I like to do this is to cut it straight down the middle first, and then each half into halves again, and then each quarter into halves again. This way tends to keep each piece evenly sized, but of course you can cut it the way you feel most comfortable. And I recommend cutting with the plastic still on, but when you do, make sure to keep this top part intact, so don't cut through this section. Now, as long as you kept this top part intact, this whole sheet comes right off as one piece. So this way you're not having to take off tiny pieces of plastic. Okay, one last step, well, almost last step here, is to cut some thin jalapeno slices to put on top. And I'm just going to cut this crosswise to make thin circles. Alright, now it's time to plate this. And there you have it. Very pretty roll, right? Now, of course, if you want to keep it a bit more mild, then leave the jalapeno toppings off. Or if you want it spicier, add some more. Totally up to you. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I want to pair this with one of my current favorite Japanese sake. This is a bottle of Harada Junmai Daiginjo that was kindly sent to me from my friends at Saketaro. Saketaro is a sake distributing company based out of California, and they have hundreds of premium, high-quality sake that you typically don't see at regular retail stores, and they ship it right to your doorstep. So if you're a fan of sake or want to start experiencing the world of sake, then definitely check out the link in the description. And be sure to use my special code to get 10% off your first order. Thank you again to Saketaro for sending me this bottle. Alright, so a little bit about this sake. It's made by Hatsumo Meiji Brewery in Yamaguchi Prefecture. It's a Junmai Daiginjo, which means it's the highest level of premium sake, but it's also a Muroka and Genshu style sake. Muroka means unfiltered, but not the same as Nigori sake, which is often referred to as unfiltered sake as well. I'm not going to get into all the details here, but just know that Muroka style tends to be more bold and rich when it comes to flavor. And Genshu means it's undiluted, so most sake is slightly diluted with water during the brewing process, but this sake is not, which results in a more concentrated and full-bodied sake. Now, typically I wouldn't pair a Junmai Daiginjo with spicy food, but I'm curious to see how the Muroka and Genshu's bold characteristics will match with the spiciness of the HAMAPENO. So enough talking, I'm going to take some pictures of this really quick and then we'll dive into the tasting. Okay, I'm back and excited to try this. Alright, itadakimasu. Very good. Now let's try the sake. Kapai. Okay, that's not a bad pairing at all. I thought the spiciness might overpower some of the delicate ginjo characteristics, but not really. I still taste the tropical fruit flavors and it actually kind of enhances the fruity aroma a bit. And the rich, velvety Genshu and Muroka flavors are still very apparent. Let's try another bite. And the roll is not that spicy, which may be a factor too. You never know with jalapenos. Sometimes they're extremely spicy, but sometimes they're pretty mild. That's really good. I actually like this a lot. So yeah, Harada Junmai Daiginjo. It's a very good bottle and can be paired with a variety of different dishes. And it's great by itself too. As you can see, I've gone through most of the bottle already. Alright, now if you guys enjoyed this video and want to learn more on how to make sushi, then be sure to check out my book, It's called How to Make Sushi at Home, a fundamental guide for beginners and beyond. Making sushi can be intimidating, even for experienced chefs. So I wrote this book to teach you the fundamentals and guide you each step of the way, taking you from total sushi novice to professional sushi chef level. So whether you're a sushi chef in training or a home cook that wants to make sushi for friends and family, this will be your guide. Links are in the description below for those that are interested. And now that you know how to make this roll, learn how to make another spicy roll by going to this video right over here. Alright, thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you're enjoying my content. And feel free to leave any questions or comments below. I'll see you on the next one. Kanpai!